Hey guys, J77 doing another What's New. I got 5 stories I want to talk about, so I might as well get the show on the road. Um, I might as well just touch on the Anthony Weiner thing because this situation has gotten worse and worse, and it doesn't sound like there's any bright light at the end of the tunnel. For those who don't know, and that's going to be kind of surprising if you don't, Anthony Weiner is trying to make a bid for mayor of New York City. He was in a very strong lead, but then again, his past as well as his lying and denying, even though he knew he was lying, and even though now he's coming back to say that may have done more taxing in the past, it's finally coming back to haunt him to the point where every newspaper is pretty much asking for him to step down. Um, as case you guys don't know, Weiner was a congressman who got caught sending inappropriate text pictures to a young woman. This text pictures was showing his private parts, and as a result of this, he was forced to apologize to both to the people he was serving as well as to his wife, and was also pretty much forced to resign because of this. Apparently, this have actually spilled over even more when it's found out that he actually have done it again after he has stepped down. And now, as he's running for mayor, all this stuff is being thrown out there. Um, these stuff is coming to light because of the position he's running, and he's pretty much forced to do damage control to the point where he actually pretty much admitted that he did it more than one time, and is forced to apologize again. Now, the polls had him in New York leading at one point. It was a very tight race, but he was actually leading, and now he's pretty much barely hanging on to the double-digit numbers. That's how fed up people are. It doesn't help the fact that every media in New York, Post, Daily News, New York Times, etc., is pretty much getting on him because they're getting fed up with the flip-flopping he's doing and the apologies he's making. Which, by the way, a lot of people, including myself, feels that we're tired of hearing that. When I heard he was running for mayor of New York, the first thing I said is he better not have anything in his closet. He better come forward with it now, because if he runs for mayor, one of the highest seats in New York, he's going to be put under the microscope a lot, and that's strongly because of what happened when he was congressman. That's going to be a distraction. He's going to have to work around that. But also, if anything else was to surface, this could even become a bigger distraction because there's no way he can get around that, especially when the media is throwing it back at him. It's made front page throughout most of the media outlets in New York, and including ones that are actually free papers. You can just get in the stand and open it up, and that's it. So this is a very big deal, and a lot of people are saying that it shouldn't be a big deal because what happens in his private life should happen. Should not judge him for that, and he's probably not the only one, which he's not. He's not the only one. But the difference between the actual normal guy who works a 9 to 5 job and him is he's a representative of our state. He is running for one of the top positions in New York, and his showing his gross negligence, his recklessness, really is the main concern. And I'm sorry, it is a main concern for New York. We cannot have someone this reckless running our city. We just can't. A lot of people say he should resign, which I don't think he's going to. For the simple fact is, if he resigns, his whole political career is done, is over. There is no second. There is no other chance coming out of that. So may have to ride the storm. And look, he may not be the primary, the Democratic nominee when all is said and done. Now Quinn, it looks like Quinn is going to be is to regain the lead. Thompson looked like he's coming up the lead. So who knows who's going to be that Democratic nominee? But one thing is certain: if he resigns now and steps down, that's it. There is no second chance. There is no chance at all to be had. His career is definitely done. I will also say this, that for those who saying that his wife is playing the good wife, I think it's a little bit unfair. She's playing the game just like everybody else. Just like everybody else get caught out there. She has to say good things. Is she frustrated by this? I'm pretty sure she is. I'm pretty sure she's fed up by all this. But I'm not gonna go crazy on her. I actually didn't even realize she was still together until recent. But I'm not gonna get on her. My beef right now is Weiner, all right, because this is something that he should have came out with earlier. Whether this was in the past or something he's done before coming into the election, he should have played all his cards on the table and said, yeah, this is something that I've done. I'm still seeking help for that, but it's not going to be an issue. I'm throwing it out there so that way there'll be no surprises at all when it comes to me running for the big house, running for Gracie Mansion. No, he didn't figure that this was not going to come out again. It came out again, and the fact that there was reports that he said he want those texts erased, and he should told the girl to erase all information about it, really shows that he hasn't really learned anything at all, and that's something that everybody is taking into consideration, taking into deep concern, especially when a city who has thrived over these last 17 years, they don't want to go back to the gutter, and they don't want a guy who's going to be reckless to lead them back in the gutter. That's the thing, because keep in mind, the 60s and 70s were a tough time for New York. New York was dead broke. We really had a very good, despite our criticism of Giuliani and Bloomberg, for the most part, they did their job well. I will say they did their job well. They may not have been great in many other things, and believe me, I get on them all the time for that. But they did their job well in terms of how this city have flourished during these 17 years. So I got to give credit where credit is due. But as far as Weiner concerned is, man, I hope there's nothing else that's going to be coming out there, because my goodness, it's becoming a circus, and the media is having a ball with this. They are not letting this go, and if he can somehow manage to weather the storm, that's great. But if he can't, man, game over, man. Your career's done. You can't even resign, because if you resign, pretty much that means everything you did was everything you have said. It was a lie, and your career's done. So let's see what happens. I'd like to hear your comments on that. We'll leave links to articles retaining to this story. But man, oh man, this has become it has become one big Weiner bash fest. And you know what? I can't really blame the media at this point. I really can't, because again, he was going to run from there. He knew that this was going to be an issue, and he should have came clean before making this announcement, so that way at least people know, okay, at least he's honest about it, at least he's not trying to hide it. But this here, oh man. On to the next story. I might as well talk about this one, because the more I hear what she's doing in terms of the bank's concern and new regulation concern, the more I wish that she actually ran for president. Elizabeth Warren is pretty much is trying to revive the Glass-Steagall Act, which a lot of people say they may not have a chance, at least with this Congress, of passing. But she's actually pushing for it. She's actually trying to get it done. And one of the reasons why is that pretty much, let's be realistic here, there is a huge concern of these banks being way too big, way too powerful, to the point where even Congress himself can't do nothing to stop them. And that's a very scary thought, especially since they've been proven that they are reckless when it comes to making investments without money, by the way, and basically bringing the whole economy down together. And I think that Elizabeth Warren is earning money by criticizing them these last few months, as well as bringing this bill. Now, a lot of people are saying it's unlikely this will be signed into law, but at least it shows that somebody's actually pushing forward. And you better believe this is not over, because there is going to be a major issue about putting these stuff into legislation. Another reason why this has become a big name, because of what CBS did. I don't know if CBS realized or not, by them having that interview with her and pretty much being embarrassed by her, because she basically pointed out strong point of views, which CBS could not respond to that. It was just pretty much her doing her homework, knowing what she was talking about, and bringing up all the examples that why we need regulation, at least to keep these banks in check. Not having a big corporation who deals with money and let them flow freely without any kind of regulation involved. We always seen what can happen, and I think that it's time that uh, people start to recognize that sometimes legislation is needed to make sure that our economy won't collapse due to what the banks do or what they're not supposed to do. And just keep in mind, she's not the only one. There are a couple of Republicans who also are looking to try and get some kind of regulation passed. She is one of the leading force behind it, and she's pretty much been fighting. She's been fighting this ever since she got elected. And you know what? I hope that something gets done. I hope that's wake up a lot of people saying, "Come on now, you're letting these guys do this and this and that," and yet when they mess up to the point where it brings down the economy, there's no consequence for them at all. I mean, that whole entire hearing really said a lot. In the article, it says here that again that this was represented by uh, Elizabeth Warren along with John McCain to introduce an updated version of the landmark Glass-Steagall Act on Thursday, aimed at retaining in the risk of America's largest Wall Street banks. It also says here that the legislation is unlikely to be signed into law, but underscores the dependency rift between the House and the Senate over financial accountability, which is one of the main focus here, financial accountability. It also says here, while bipartisan coalition in the House has been moving legislation to deregulate sweeps, the complex financial product at the heart of the 2008 banking collapse, a host of Senate bills cracking down on Wall Street risk had grimmer Democrats, and GOP support. The new bill, which is also correspondent to Senator Maria Cotwell, Democrat of Washington, and Angus King, an independent Maine, would require banks that accept federally insured deposits to focus on traditional lending and would bar them from engaging in risk sensitivities trading. The separation between lending and trading was originally imposed in 1933. The Glass-Steagall Act, Conwell and McCain previously introduced the plan as an amendment in 2010, but the largely similar bill was never meant. It was never put into play. So that's basically what we have here. So basically, they're all talking now. They're all bringing stuff out that needs to be bring out, and I hope common sense actually prevail in this, because again, there's no denying when you let these banks run amok, they will run amok, and they will take many big risks without even thinking about the overall impact it will have to our economy, to our jobs, just to us in general. Because when stuff like this happens, and it's been proven, who pays for it? It ain't the big guys. It's the middle class, working class citizens of this country, and sometimes we pay for it with our jobs. We lose our jobs, or stuff going higher than what they really should be. So I hope that they nip this in the bud as soon as possible, because right now these banks, the bigger they are, the more scarier scarier they are, in my opinion, my eyes, and highly unlikely will actually criminal charges be solved, because all they do is fine people. They don't actually go after them criminally and put them in jail. They put me in jail just for missing out on a payment, but they will not do that on with these guys, and that's always been my beef, my rift between that. I think everybody's mad about that when they see big bankers who purposely put our economy in shambles just get away with it with a slap on the wrist. What you guys think about that? I really like to know what you guys feel about that. Leave your comments below. I'd like to know. And with that, I'll keep moving in. This one, I can't say I'm not surprised with the Trayvon Martin situation being such a hot button lately. I'm not surprised this actually happened. I mentioned this when Spike Lee has done this. Spike Lee, as you all know, about a year ago, had gotten a hold of a telephone number and address, and actually decided it was a good idea to tax that number of George Zimmerman, as well as his address, in his Twitter account. The problem was it wasn't even Zimmerman's address, and even if it was poor judgment on his part because he basically put not only Zimmerman in danger but his family in danger, and the people who wasn't even involved in danger. Vigilante justice, to me, I don't approve at all, at all. Well, this something similar has happened to another person who bears the same name of George Zimmerman. The only difference between this George Zimmerman and the other one, this George Zimmerman has two N's, his last name. It says here in the article, George Zimmerman with two N's had a call, had to call the county sheriff office after he received several death threats apparently meant for George Zimmerman. According to WFVT, this I'll say it right here. It says here, hey, and by the way, I'm blinking out because this is what the article has done. They blinked out because a lot of curse words here. Hey, blank, you are the one who killed Trayvon Martin. When you blank, get out, you're dead. Said one caller. Whatever you go, you're dead. Whatever you're trying to hide, you're dead. Watch your blank move. You think you are free, you are not. You better get ready to dig a 6-foot hole, cause you know you're fixing to go. The caller added, according to WFVT. Now I have seen this video. I've seen the news report. I have heard the phone call. From what I've heard and what I sound like some young guy who has nothing better to do but to try and pick on this person. The Zimmerman, by the way, is a pastor. This Zimmerman is a pastor at a church, and he was shaken up by this. Of course, he's very scared about this. He actually changed his phone number in hopes to stop the calling. This is the kind of stuff that that no one should be doing. But sadly, we got people out there, they got morons out there who have nothing better to do than to do this, thinking that they're actually doing people a favor. You're not. This is actually making things worse. Making death threats on anyone, whether it was George Zimmerman or not, isn't going to solve anything. It's going to make a whole lot of things worse. And it's made the news. That's even more serious. And I actually hope that the county sheriff actually find who this guy is. Have a nice little talk to that person. Because there's no excuse for that at all. I don't condone this at all. I don't condone any type of behavior like that. And again, it also shows why. This is not the George Zimmerman that you guys are attacking. This is some dude who's going about his daily life, some pastor who's doing his daily routine, and he has to deal with this, and his family has to deal with this, and they shouldn't be dealing with that. He shouldn't have to change his numbers for this. But unfortunately, he had to for the safety of his family. He shouldn't have to even look over his shoulders. This is the kind of nonsense that that people need to stop. This is not helping, man. This is not justice at all. And like I said, am I happy with the verdict? No, I'm not. I felt he got away with murder, but then again, that's a don't hurt themselves for another day. The point is, am I gonna make myself feel good by calling someone on the phone and making threatening statements? No. So I do hope the whole thing stopped. I do hope that the police actually find the clown who did that, or clowns, because I'm pretty much sure there's more than one. And I'm just hoping that the family's going to be okay from here on out. It made the news. Hopefully the people who saw the news will stop because they realize, hey, look, this is well, we don't want this. Now the cops are getting involved. Who knows what else getting involved? So chill out, guys. That's not the answer, man. That's really not. And you're not. And because of this, again, an innocent person who has nothing to do with this whole entire Zimmerman case, what the jury has done, what George Zimmerman has done, they're now feeling the heat. On to the next story. I got two more to go. I'm going to go this as quickly as possible because I want to keep it under a certain amount of time. But I'm going to go with this one because I saved the last one last because that's my weird one. I like to keep the weird ones or good news ones last, just do a send-off. But this one actually caught me kind of on a loop because when I read this the first time, I was kind of stunned that judges can do that. I didn't think judges can actually do it, and when I actually looked this up, this is not a rare case. There's actually been some judges, mostly federal judges, surprisingly, who does this, and Ohio judge um, have done this, and the results were pretty much okay. It's kind of weird. If it works, fine. If not, well, can't say I knock it. Um, the main article says an Ohio judge ordered a woman to spend the next 5 Christmas in jail. That's 5 days, each one of them on Christmas Day. According to the article here, an Ohio judge has sentenced a woman convicted of illegally stealing driver's licenses to 5 days in jail for the next 5 Christmas days. The unusual sentence um, for Benina Young, 44, of Columbus, is what the judge Michael J. Holbrook calls the Holbrook holiday. Interesting. The judge of the Franklin County Place Courthouse asked the convicted defendant for their favorite holidays, their birthdays, their 4th of July, and then sentenced them to spend that day in prison. The article also says, I've been doing this for 9 years now. Holbrook told the ABC News, I take some date that is important to the individual and make them give it up. For example, if they celebrate Christmas, I will make them go to jail for those 3 to 5 days during the Christmas holiday, so they can miss Christmas Eve or Christmas Day with their families. So I'll leave my comment on this for a minute. The young was sentenced to her Holbrook holiday on Monday for issuing state ID cards to driver's license to immigrants who enter the country illegally, according to Associated Press. In addition to the 5-year probation, a $3,000 fine for tampering with state records, Young must go to jail each Christmas for the next 5 years, Holbrook said. In Young's case, as in other cases where I have done this, I thought that the gravity of the situation deserves some sort of reminder of what can happen if they do not comply with their probation, Holbrook explains. Now, this is where the catch is. I want to read the catch here because this is something very important. Because you guys thinking this is ridiculous, but when you see if what happens if she violated her parole, where if you look at it, she's actually got away with a lot less, and she should be thankful she got away with a lot less. It says here, if Young violated her probation, she will be sentenced to 15 years in prison, according to a sentencing report. That's a big difference. 5 years probation plus 5 days spending in Christmas versus 15 years in prison. I think the person who committed the crime is kind of happy that she had to spend 1 day in jail for 5 days, not to mention 5 years probation. I'm just saying. Holbrook says he got the idea from a federal court judge who will sometimes sentence individuals to jail on every federal holiday throughout the year. I could make them go to jail every holiday if I wanted to, Holbrook said, but I just make them go to their favorite day, like their birthdays. In one case, I made a man who was very involved in the community to go to jail for the 4th of July. Holbrook estimates that he has given Holbrook holidays approximately to 40 people, so it's not like something he's due every case. I'm pretty sure that's something he's not doing. I'm pretty sure that any violent cases he has, they ain't getting no Holbrook holiday. They're getting something else, and they're not gonna. And we might see him for a very long time. So pretty much these are mostly non-violent cases, and from what I'm hearing, and this is probably one of the main important reasons why he's doing this, with the cost of prison rising in Ohio, this is really an alternative and effective form of sentencing, Holbrook said. So there you have it. That last sentence pretty much says it all. Non-violent, too expensive to house the prison for all these years, 5-year probation plus 5 days to spend in prison and during Christmas holidays, and a $3,000 fine. I think they'll take that over that. And do I feel this is unfair? Honestly, I didn't know what to think when I saw this. I'm like, really? They actually do this? And this is the feds. This ain't the state. This is the feds. So it did caught me a little bit by surprise they actually have that. But keep in mind, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure not all judges do that. But in terms of Ohio, I can somewhat understand. Look, again, um, you guys make comments saying no, she should have been going to jail a lot longer. She was giving illegal documents to someone who could be potential dangerous, and those points are taken, well taken. What I'm saying is that on this situation, I think the judge made a call based on what was going on in his state, based on the evidence that was presented to him, and so he weighed the pros and the cons, and basically handed out the sentence from there. Now, keep in mind, if she violates parole, all bets are off. That's 15 years in prison she's going to. So, to me, she can't afford to violate parole. She needs to do what parole is telling her to do, as well as maintaining the agreement that it was handed down to the judge. Otherwise, 15 years in prison. So, she's not pretty much getting away scot clean. Just keep that in mind there, alright? So, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. I'd like to hear your guys' opinion on this matter. I will leave a link below. You guys can talk about it. Alright? Alright, one more topic. Let's go to this topic right now. Because this is a weird topic. Cats roaming severely attacked a woman in France. According to the article, they honestly don't know why. It's not rare. It's not common that cats be aggressive to strange animals they don't know, but to attack a dog, pretty much a poodle, and her master walking down the park, that's something of a whole different scenario altogether. It says here one pet owner from France learned that as much of that situation when a park of at least 6 cats attacked the woman while she was walking the dog near the forest area in Blatford on Sunday evening, according to local reports. The 30-year-old woman sustained several injuries on her leg and arm, including her neck. Her dog was also injured as well, and the poodle, by the way, was taken to the nearest veterinarian, while she was taken to a nearby clinic. There hasn't been no serious injuries, but the veterinarian called the savage encounter abominable behavior and could not explain why the felines committed an act of apparent aggressiveness. He told the daily newspaper. I'm lost for words on this, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. I had cats when I was at my grandmother's house. She had a lot of them. Yeah, they are aggressive. They do fight each other. I remember nights when I hear them fight one another when some of them come back with bruises. But most of the time, cats, if they don't know you, especially with humans, they just stay away. It all depends on how much. Cats are very funny that way. It depends on how much exposure they have towards humans. There are some cats that just stand there and look at you and don't bother you. There's some cats who are very playful. But to me, I always like this. Cats are very independent. They don't act like dogs. If they want to come near, they come near you. If they want to stay away from you, they will stay away from you. But have a team, a gang of cats attack someone, never heard that one before. I'm not saying it doesn't happen all over the world, but I'm pretty sure there's another rare case that it did happen. But to this one, yeah, this is kind of weird. Makes me wonder if there's other story that it's not being mentioned. But from what I've read, it hasn't happened yet. And I'm not gonna lie, when they had that picture of that cat, I kind of wonder, like, yeah, this cat is up to no good. If you see the picture on this article, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it is weird. I mean, it is weird that the cats would do that. I have no logical explanation of why. Maybe there was a certain scent, the perfume that got them upset. Or maybe it's just the poodle, they didn't like the poodle and they knew that to get to the poodle, they had to get to the owner. I don't know, but it's one of those things that, yeah, you might want to think twice when you see a cat glaring at you, because they may be saying, yeah, I'm just waiting for the right time. I'm just waiting for the right time. But it is weird. I like to hear your opinions, especially cat lovers out there. I'm a cat lover myself. I have so many of them I can't even almost count. But like to hear your opinion on that. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. I will leave a link below. You guys can comment on from there. And that's pretty much it. All the articles. I will leave a link to you guys. You guys can comment. Let me know what you guys think about the news. If you have something you want me to talk about next week, please leave a link below so I can actually look at it. But until then, it's J77 saying take care, be safe. I will talk to you soon.